Ethnographic Analysis. Definition, Technique, and Function. Introduction. The now classical anthropological ethnographies at the beginning of 20th century formed the model for 2 or 3 successive generations of social scientists. These studies usually were based on field research sojourns that last 2 or more years. The researchers live with or very close to the people being studied and participated in the aspect of their lives, although not too wholeheartedly for fear of being accused of going bush or going native. This latter situation might, for the anthropologist as well as the missionary, lead to the lack of objectivity or even worse, of motivation to conduct the research. What is ethnographic analysis? Ethnographic is a study of culture from a holistic sense, meaning it examines all the parts of the world of the whole and examines people and their relationship to the cultural system. This includes processes and meanings within those systems, such as customs, behaviors, interpersonal relations, and relation to space. It's an attempt to understand a culture on its own terms. As a result, ethnographers rely on some unique methods which largely define ethnographically itself. As a form of inquiry, ethnography relies heavily on participants' observation, on the researchers participating in the setting or with the people being studied, at least in some marginal role, and seeking to document in detail pattern of social interaction and the perspective of participants and to understand this in their local context. It has it had its original in social-cultural anthropology in the early 20th century, but spread to other social science disciplines, notably sociology, during the course of that century. The fieldwork concept. Ethnographers try to understand a culture on its own term, and that means you can't bring a culture to a lab. You have to go to the culture. This is a common in many types of anthropological and sociological research, but ethnographers practice complete immersion within the culture. This means that their fieldwork can't be completed in a day or a week or a month. Typically, ethnographic study lasts for a year or longer. Because ethnographers conduct systematic and scientific analysis of a culture, utilizing a number of quantitative and qualitative methods. A good ethnographer should be open to using any of all those tools of analysis available. But in this session, we're going to focus on the 2 ethnographical techniques. Ethnographers mainly use qualitative methods, though they may also employ quantitative data. The typical ethnography is a holistic study and so includes a brief history and an analysis of the terrain, the climate, and the habitat. A wide range of groups and organizations have been studied by this method, including traditional communities, youth gangs, religions, cults, and organizations of various kinds. While traditionally ethnography had relied on the physical presence of the researchers in a setting, there is a research using the label that had relied on interviews or documents, sometimes to investigate events in the past such as the NASA Challenger disaster. There is also considerable amount of virtual or online ethnography, sometimes labeled as nethrography or cyber ethnography. Method and technique. Depending upon the research questions, a combination of interviews with unstructured thematically guided observation, all of this reduces to the narrative analysis or discourse analysis. If critical theory is basis of observing a distinct cultural structure, themes, codes and categories can be generated through manual methods. Although grounded theory is now heavily identified with interviewing, all of the original studies by Glasser and Strauss use what a sociologist would call participant observation, which is pretty close to what others would call ethnography. From an ethnographic perspective, the most important component of grounded theory would probably be the theoretical sampling, where you use field notes and memos to keep track of your emerging theoretical insight, and then select further and further types of observation or interviews based on what would do the most advance on your current insight. Summary: ethnography, or from Greek ethnos, folks or nation, and grapho means write, is a branch of anthropology and the systematic study of individuals' cultures. In contrast with ethnology, ethnography explores cultural phenomena from the point of view of the subject of the study. Ethnography is also a type of social research involving the examination of the behavior of the participant in a given social situation and understanding the group's member own interpretation of such behavior. Thank you so much for watching.